Welcome to our podcast. I'm Dad's ex.
And I'm the next.
And yeah, it's been a
And
hot
we're
minute.
back again.
Woo! I feel like we saw this coming, though, honestly, with like our schedules completely changing and like things are just getting a little
That's
bit.
not even what got in the way. You got sick, then I got sick.
Yeah, I got hella sick, and it's like still impacting me. I got mono, of all fucking things, which I didn't even know that you could still get mono. Like, that's normally something that happens in high school, but
People are making out with everybody.
yeah, just yeah. So I got this like really weird, like super bizarre symptoms.
Yeah.
It was wild, to the point where I had like a notes. Like I used the notes app on my phone to track like what symptoms were happening over the time, because they just kept changing. And so finally went into urgent care and they tested me for all the things. They tested me for strep, for COVID, for flu. They even checked to see if I was going into heart failure because of some of my symptoms. Like I had an all over body rash. It was what my fingers were swollen to the point where I couldn't even wear my wedding ring. Like I still am not chancing it because it's really hard to get off once my fingers are swollen.
Copy! Yes! Fuck yeah.
Oh God, with the fingers and everything too? God.
Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, the urgent care doctor literally walks back into the room and goes, I don't know. Good luck. Pretty much. He's like sick. And so I fucking wrote it out for another week, but then it was like my swelling and everything was getting so much worse. I was having really bad vertigo. My mouth and my tongue was going numb, which I was like, cool, this is really fucking bizarre. So I went and saw my doctor, who tested me for mono because apparently that's going around the county. And so I had to do a blood draw. Yeah, and so I have one of the rarer strains of mono that only impacts like 1 in every 100 cases, that you also get the neurological side effects. So, because normally with mono, you think strep, cold symptoms, but like on steroids. But no, all of my like rash and numbness and vertigo is all of the neurological symptoms. So I also have to take it easy because if I'm not careful, it could turn into meningitis.
Is that why you're like really slacking in the steps challenge?
Oh yeah, like I cannot. My spleen is like really enlarged, and so I am essentially on bed rest. I can't do any vigorous activity. I can't lift weights. I can't do anything for if I'm too like vigorous. Delete. My spleen could rupture, which is, life threatening. So I have to like take it super easy. But it's like I don't want to do anything. Like I'm so tired and so fatigued that I come home from work and I'm immediately bedridden. Like I just don't have the energy to fucking do anything. So it's like I still go to my normal like Monday through Friday job because it's a desk job, so it's like not too bad. But I've called out of my retail job because I worked last weekend before I found out that I had mono, and it was like 45 minutes in, I was already texting William of like, I'm really dizzy. I feel like I'm going to pass out. Like I can't stand for more than an hour before I start getting like, I feel like I'm on a trip.
Yeah.
It's not great. And my doctor said probably another 6 to 8 weeks of this shit. Yeah. Fucking awful. Because it's viral, so there's nothing that you can take. Can't take anything. So I'm just out here being super tired and fatigued and like struggling on top of being a mom.
Her family to leave. Just get the fuck out already.
Well, William is just like, You kind of saw him just kind of like
I know Nick's the same way, where it's
twiddling
like
around, and it's like it takes them
I'm just
20
gonna
minutes.
leisurely take my time, even though I need to get the fuck out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand what
She literally was like, will you guys just fucking leave already? And then they're at the door. She's like, go, get out.
As they're all just kind of standing around.
I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here.
I like look up at William after I tell him to
And
get
he's like,
out, and he's just staring at me.
She's like, did I stutter?
Leave. I mean, I might have.
You didn't.
But it's really hard to talk with like your tongue and your tongue and mouth being numb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then last weekend I got really sick.
Yeah, you got super fucking sick.
She brought me soup because I was just like, last weekend was fucked. Okay.
Yeah, last weekend was a whole fucking time. And I was like on the outskirts of it, and even I was like stressed. Every time she would text me, I was like waiting for a specific update, and it was just ugh.
So last week, my father-in-law and his wife, my mother-in-law, Nick's stepmom, they went to California because Nick's stepmom, she has one biological daughter, and she's pregnant with her first baby, and they live in California. Her and her husband do. So they went to California to go they had the baby shower last weekend. Okay. Now today is Saturday the 18th. So when we're talking last weekend, we're talking Mother's Day weekend. So they went that Thursday, and they had asked me to watch their dogs. Cool. I've watched their dogs before. Love their dogs. Love their house. Like you can see the water from their house, and they have a little balcony outside of their bedroom has a sliding glass door with a little balcony with like chairs, and it's like my dream to sit out there with a coffee or a hot chocolate and read a book, because it's just like a whole vibe that I want in my life, right?
It'd be so nice.
So I'm like, cool. I know Nick doesn't like going there, and I know he's not going to stay there. So I'm like, cool. I'm going to have this house to myself for the weekend, and I can like read my book because I'm behind on the book for our book club, which haven't finished it, and we meet today.
Yeah,
so that's
our book
cool.
club
And it's
today.
My book club that I started, but we won't talk about that. Anyways, so that Thursday they leave. I had gone there after work, so I got there at like 3:30 in the morning when they're like getting ready to leave. Cool. Hang out with the dogs, let them out to go potty in the morning. Nick didn't work that Thursday, so like he was like, you can sleep in. And then my brother-in-law shows up at 8 a.m. Didn't get the memo that they weren't working, and I'm like, well, that was not fun to wake up to you. Anyways, so then I go to work that night, and they're like, no, you're sick as shit, go. So then I go, and then Friday morning comes. Now they have two dogs. One is a golden doodle. His name's Wiley. He's 9. He's epileptic, needs seizure meds, okay, twice a day. The other one's Benny. He's 2. He's a Rottweiler. He's a big goofball.
I love Benny so
I know.
much.
He's the sweetest.
He's a giant ass Rottweiler, but big old teddy bear.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah, he is the sweetest. So Benny, 4:15 in the morning, wakes me up. And I'm like, okay, I'm sleeping down in their guest bedroom where there's a sliding glass door outside. Now, they let their dogs outside all the time.
Yeah.
They do have an electric fence because sometimes the dogs do take off. And it's mostly Benny. He's the instigator. But they live near a beach, and they have like woods in their backyard. So like when they take off, they usually just go to the beach or the woods. They come back. And so at 4:15 in the morning, I'm not thinking to go into the garage, get the collar for the fence, because they said take it off them at night. So I took it off them at night. And the morning before, when I had let them out to go potty that early, they came right back inside. So I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Open the door.
Go do your business.
Go potty.
Come back.
So I wait a few minutes. They're not coming back. So I go outside. I'm yelling for them. They're not coming. They're not coming. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yelling for them some more. Not coming. And I'm like, cool. Fucking dogs are gone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to freak out. It was probably like 5 in the morning that I got in my car, start driving around the neighborhood, up and down all the streets, yelling for them. They're not coming. 5:45, I call my father-in-law, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. to wake you up. And like they wake up early anyways. Like he's normally up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. So it's like he was already up and he's like, no, 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 what's going on? I was like, the dogs took off. I can't find them. I've been driving around. I've been yelling for them. They've been gone since like 4:30. And he's like, oh, they're probably at the beach. Go back to bed. They'll come back. And I'm like, okay. I can't go back to sleep because I'm stressed about the dogs coming back and me not being awake when they come back. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm up. And then at like 9 something rolls around and I'm like, so they've been gone for 5 fucking hours now.
Yeah,
Like
like when do they come
when do I
back?
start really getting concerned? Still not coming back. Calling for them, still nothing. So then they say, have Nick they have some quads. And he's like, have Nick take one of the quads up and down the specific street that's near the beach because he goes, that's what I have to do sometimes to get them to come back. So Nick comes, I go home, and I'm like sick, like super
Yeah.
fucking sick. Like at 6 a.m., I'm texting her, I want soup. Like I feel like shit. Like my face was puffy, my
Yeah.
eyes, it's like my eyes were just watering because it's just like there was so much pressure that it was just had to get out
Yeah.
somewhere. I was
Sounded
stuffy, my
super
throat was
nasally.
sore,
Yeah.
like it was so bad. And so it was like, and I'm tired from it's just like a week of work. Like I was just exhausted. So I go home because we live right down the road from them. Go home. Nick goes to their house, gets a quad. He's searching for 3 hours for these dogs.
Yeah.
He's going up and down all the roads, on the beach, like he's everywhere, searching, calling for these dogs, not coming. And I'm like, awesome,
Yeah.
great, like freaking out. Right,
These
what's supposed to be my
frickin'
relaxing weekend
was anything
was
but.
anything but that. So then 3 o'clock, I go to the Humane Society because they won't give you any information over the phone as far as what
Yeah.
stray dogs they have. You
And
have to
at
go
this
in.
point too, like we've posted in all the Facebook groups
Yeah.
that you could think of.
Yep.
Like I know you were posting, I posted in my neighborhoods just in case.
Yeah. Sheila had posted in a group, so we're posting everywhere. So then 3 o'clock rolls around. Sheila calls and she's like, "Can you go to the Humane Society because they won't give me any information over the phone about the stray dogs that they have. You have to go in and you have to do like a full walkthrough of their dogs." And I'm like, okay. I'm still in my pajamas because I'd been fucking sick as shit.
Yeah.
So I go home, I change, and head to the Humane Society. I'd fill out a lost dog report. Then I walk through. They're not there. And of course, there's like a ton of fucking cute ass dogs that I'm like, I want to take you home. And
Yeah.
I like even asked the lady, I was like, how do you work here? I couldn't do it. Yeah, so they're not there. So then we go all night. They still nothing. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
a Friday night, I'm in tears because it's like I feel like shit because I'm sick. I'm tired. And I like can't find my in-laws' dogs.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's like there's that like guilt too of
yeah, and like everybody was like, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault." But it's like, I opened the door. It's my fault.
yeah.
You know, like
Well, and see, and that was like my thing that I really struggled with too. It's like it's like it sounded like they knew that these but they're super sweet dogs, but butthole
oh no, I keep
dogs.
calling them ass. I even told
Yeah.
them they came over this morning, and I was like, "You're fucking asshole dogs." They won't even look at me. I went over there on Monday. Wiley wouldn't even look at me.
Oh, they knew they
He
fucked up.
knew, and I was like, "Your dog won't even look at me. He knows I'm fucking pissed at him."
But it's like they knew, and the dogs like they do this frequently enough to where like they had a process of like, oh yeah, get the quads, do this, like
Yeah,
go up and down these
they've
streets,
just
here's
never
where
been
they
gone
go.
this long. Like
Yeah.
normally they're gone for like an hour, two tops maybe,
Yeah.
but like they always come home. So then of course they're freaking out. I feel bad
Mom
because
and dad's out of town. We got to push the boundaries, see what we
yeah.
can get away with.
So then I feel bad because like they're supposed to be enjoying this weekend
Yep.
with Sheila's daughter, who, they obviously don't see them as much because they live in California. It's her first baby, it's her baby shower, and like I felt so bad them being stressed through that. And so then they changed their flights. They were supposed to come home that Monday. They changed their flights to that Saturday night. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Saturday again, like wake up, we had an early morning soccer game and we had soccer pictures. So it's like we were out the door at 7. Came back and we're all on the hunt again for these dogs. We're
Mm-hmm.
all day searching. We're walking up and down the roads, yelling for them. Nothing.
Yeah.
Then they come home Saturday night. Sunday morning, Wiley gets returned, and that was like he had been now 2 days without
Without seizure
2.5 days
meds.
without his seizure meds. So of course I'm also freaking out. Wiley's having a fucking seizure somewhere. Like he hasn't had his meds. Like oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right down the road.
Yeah.
Like the
Literally.
person who returned him lived right down the road, and they were like, "Hey, we found your dog." Benny's still missing. They go out to dinner that night. So now this is Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
They go out to dinner that night. On their way home, they see Benny. I'm like, you fucking asshole dogs. Like, you ruined everybody's weekend. You stressed everybody out. She says that they have been like like they haven't been running around. They haven't had energy. Like, I was like, yeah, they're probably fucking tired from their goddamn 3-day adventure.
Yeah. And because
Assholes.
who knows where the fuck they went? Because they were gone for 3 days.
Yeah, because they were gone from 4:30 in the morning, Friday morning,
Yeah.
until Wiley got returned sometime in the afternoon on Sunday. So like I want to say like
Yeah.
2-ish on Sunday.
It's insane
And
to
then they
me.
found Benny. I think it was 9 o'clock when they called me
Yeah.
that they found Benny.
So close to home.
So
So
pretty much 3 full days.
it makes me wonder if I'd be curious to look at like the tide calendar and see if maybe
They got stuck on the other side.
yeah, because the way that like the area is built is that there's a little island that you can get to once the tide's out because you can walk across. So it makes me wonder if they went over there, got stuck,
Yeah.
hung out with the wild cows for a couple of days, and then came back.
Yeah. Who knows, dude?
It's there's
Who knows?
literally they need to invest in like little pet tags of some sort.
They got some.
Did they?
Yeah.
So
Oh
that
no,
they
they
can
did. They ordered them.
good.
As soon as they got home, they
Yeah.
ordered them.
Good.
And then Nick just built a fence too.
Yeah.
This week.
Good.
That was his work this week, was building a fence.
Yeah, so it's freaking because it's like Wiley's so much older that it's
well, and
like
he wouldn't take off. It's Benny that like, and they can even see. They looked back on the footage
Yeah.
of their house on the security cameras, and they see Wiley or Benny and of course Wiley. They pack dogs, right?
Yeah.
Like Wiley follows him. Like they don't go anywhere without each other.
Yeah. So Wiley's just like,
Wiley's
man,
just
I'm
like, okay.
tired.
Yeah.
Which is probably why he came home first because he's like, man, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
I'm going
done.
home.
I'm
tired.
Yeah, so that was my fucking weekend last weekend.
Yeah.
It was just so like I'm so happy that they're home, and I love the dogs, but I'm holding a grudge on them
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, as you should, because even like for me,
I invited her over. I was like, we could sit on the porch and read books. Like,
yeah.
it's gonna be great without the kids. None of them.
Yeah, and but it's like I'm now stressed about these dogs that are like they're my ex-in-laws' dogs.
Yeah,
and
she brought me soup. She goes, all right, well, I'll go drive around.
And I
take
did.
the long way home.
I drove completely around the peninsula and was like scouring the beach, and like to the point where I had to like pull off the road because people were getting pissed because they were getting stuck behind me.
You were going so slow.
Because I was going so slow. I'm just like keeping an eye out, and I like I was like prepped. I had a plan of like I'll just like put the seats back and
yeah, because she's like, well, I have nothing in the back, and I was like, she goes, so they can just jump in the back, and I was like, Benny does not jump into the back.
I was
goes,
like,
well,
fully,
deadlift him.
I was fully prepped to like deadlift this asshole into my car.
This big ass Rottweiler.
Yeah, because he's
a big boy.
He's a thick boy.
Yeah, he is.
He's dense.
He is.
But yeah, so I'm just like, anytime Shelby would text me, she'd have to start it off with, dogs haven't come home yet. Yeah. And it's like,
yeah.
It was very
so that's
stressful.
why we haven't been able to.
Yeah, because we had full plans of recording last weekend. Like we were gonna go over and like record at their house, enjoy some time like out on the balcony and everything. So you can blame the dogs for not getting an
for
episode.
at least one of the weeks. But
yeah,
I was also sick as shit. So
yeah,
we probably would have canceled anyways because I was really sick.
Yeah, I brought her soup.
Yeah, she brought me. I was like, I really want some Zuppa Toscana soup, and what she didn't realize was the name of the fucking soup.
I didn't
And so
know.
she's like, okay, just tell me what kind of soup you want. And I was like, I already told you I want zuppa toscana.
I didn't know what that was.
She was like, oh, I didn't.
Because I don't order soup when I go to Olive Garden.
Yeah.
I'm a salad breadstick and like cheesy noodle
Yeah.
type person.
Yeah.
So.
Somewhere in there in the last few weeks, we had my final court case.
Oh yeah. I don't even remember when that was at this point. Like it's just been
It was the 8th.
Yeah.
May 8th.
So it's been 10 days since that happened.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you see the picture of the
with
judge?
the bubbles? I commented on it.
Me too.
And I was like, that's a great judge. I love that he had bubbles.
I love that he's just like with the same stoic face holding bubbles.
God, he's such a silver fox.
He really is. He's so dreamy.
He is.
We were
I'm like low key kind of sad. We're not gonna go see him anymore.
We were both fawning over him at the last court.
Yeah,
because he's a dapper looking gentleman.
He is, and he is fun. Like he is for a judge. He's funny.
Yeah, he really is.
Like he's got a great personality. Anyways, enough about the judge. So we had our final court case. So the last update we gave was Jess mailed out everything, and I think we did talk. Oh, we did.
Yeah,
it was when I was pissed at the police about her contacting me. So we were the first ones called up, which fucking sucked again.
Man,
there were 2 other cases, and one of them looked juicy. And we couldn't be those people that like stayed when we got done because it was like obvious that we just wanted to stay.
Yeah.
But like this lady came in from the jail.
They had to bring an inmate up from downstairs. And
no, from the jail. She wasn't downstairs. The courthouse isn't the jail.
No, because they have a holding downstairs.
But she came from the jail because they had to transport her, they said. They said we have to wait for her to get transported. That's why they didn't start with that case.
That makes sense. So she wasn't in holding.
She wasn't in holding. She was at the fucking jail.
Damn.
Because at the beginning he was like, we have to wait for the inmate to get transported from the jail, and they're not here yet.
Either way, that lady was
scary. She was really scary. And I was like, no wonder her granddaughter is getting a restraining order against her. Like, I'm scared.
We were freaked out.
The judge kept looking at her because she kept talking. And we were like, I was like, don't look, don't make eye contact. Because when she walked in, she's like looking at us. Like, she's got that smug.
Oh, like, and she's even, why am I here?
Yeah. And I'm just like, it's not because of me. It's not because of me. Don't look at me. Don't say my name.
But
please,
there's
judge,
like,
don't say my name.
There's like a row of 5 seats, and like she kept like getting up and like moving, and then like sitting closer to the edge, and then just like it just
the judge
shifting
kept
around,
at her and was like, and I was like, don't look, don't make eye contact. So she can't see you if you don't look at her.
And her neck was like just as thick as like her head. Like she just it was.
She wasn't big. Like she was small, but she
had a very aggressive,
very scary
face.
Yeah,
it was. And at one point, she's like shouts out to her granddaughter, "I love you."
Yeah. And as we're just sitting there awkwardly, like.
It was very bizarre.
Yeah.
And we tried to stay afterwards.
Because they have a screen outside. Yeah. You can't hear anything. But then one of the family members, the aunt,
caught us in 4K.
Yeah, comes out. And so we're like, oh, look at these papers. Like looking at my court papers to try to pretend like we weren't just trying to watch and get the tea.
It was so bad. Oh God. Yeah. We both literally were like,
I'm like, oh look here, look at this paper.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then she
started talking to us
about twins because she
somehow that the twins got brought. Yeah. I don't know. It was a whole time.
Very awkward.
But of course, again, my mother did not show up. The judge, love him. He asked, he's like, so what kind of strain would it put on you if I just did the year protection order versus the 5 years?
Yeah.
Because normally I think they just stick to like a year and then in another year you can reapply. And I was like, I was like, I'm just happy to get one, but like it will put a lot of stress on me because like my husband has to come home from work to watch our kids, so it's hitting us financially.
Yep.
And obviously she's avoiding getting served, so she's going to do that every time. So then it's like this has turned into
And
what,
almost,
3-4 court cases now,
yeah, it's like a
or 4.
3-month
Yeah,
process.
I was like, so it's just like this is a lot of time that it's taking up, and I was like, so I would appreciate the 5-year one. And he was
Yeah.
like, yep, done. Like,
Easy peasy.
yeah. So yeah, so I officially have, and he said no service required.
Yep.
Um,
He set it up in a way that it was identical to the first papers that we served her with. So the like mail service or whatever, the 10 days that you have to wait counts towards the new permanent one. So she's been considered served.
yeah, yeah. So the kids and I have a 5-year protection order, so it's good until May 8th of 2029, and it feels so freaking good. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. Yeah, it's just been a really big stress relief.
Mhm.
So,
And she hasn't tried anything since.
yeah,
So that's
who knows if she will. I mean, I'm sure she will at some point in the next 5 years, but
yeah, we'll
because
see.
she'll at the minimum, I think she might wait a year because since she wasn't at court, I don't know if they'll mail her new papers, and she'll probably just assume
Oh.
that we only got the 1 year
That's a good call.
because she wasn't there to know that it's for 5 years.
Yeah.
So yes,
It's a
um,
trap.
yeah. So that's our update. We do have a topic today, but I have something really quick for Jess. So hold that thought.
Oh, well, what's happening
I
right
know.
now?
I have something for you.
Oh, oh, this is gonna make me cry.
It's not going to make you cry.
I mean, it's a box with the word love on it.
I'm just confessing my love to you
About
and asking
fucking
you to
time.
divorce William so that we can get married. This is my proposal.
I love that you waited to do that until William's like out of the house.
I was going to do it in front of him and have him take pictures, but then he left. So,
Just, oh, that's so sweet.
see, it is a proposal.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking cry. Oh, I literally am crying.
No, I didn't think you'd cry.
I'm also like not doing good. My immune system is shit right now. Oh my god. It says, "Will you be my maid of honor?" No.
Okay.
Just kidding. Of course I will be your maid of
Yay!
honor. Oh my god, that's so sweet.
So Nick and I are not officially married. We've been engaged for
Yeah,
like
we
4.5
always just
years.
call him the husband because it just like
It's easier.
makes sense.
But we are finally starting to talk about like getting our wedding together
Yep.
now that like we're officially done having babies. COVID's
It says, "I
done.
can't say I do without you." Oh, that's so
Isn't
sweet.
it cute?
Oh my god, I can't with all of this. That's so cute. Yeah, it was actually a good thing that you waited to do this. Could you imagine Carly being here?
I know.
It would have been. And everything's like monogrammed and has my name.
This little jewelry.
Oh, I
like
love
travel
that. Like a
jewelry
little
box.
travel
Yeah.
kit. Oh, that is so cute. I love that. Oh my god. Oh, my nose is running. I'm gonna have to go get a tissue. You ass. Hold on. Ugh. Yeah, I'm a freaking old lady and my back hurts. I'm struggling.
Struggle bussin'.
I am struggle bussing. Oh, that's super cute. Oh, little pen. Ooh, that's a bougie pen too.
Yeah.
Look at the
It says
rock
maid of
on
honor
that.
on it.
Yeah, it's a little maid of honor. Pairs well with maid of honor duties with a little maid of honor bracelet. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. You always find like the best stuff. Oh my gosh.
It's a little compact mirror.
It's so cute. And see, and it's like she knows that like I'm not a gold or a silver, I'm a rose gold.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is rose
Read the
gold.
back.
Whoa, I didn't realize I saw my name. Oh.
There's a little message on the back too.
Oh. You're so cute. Oh my god, I just stopped crying and I'm gonna start crying again. It says, "You're my best friend, my human diary, and my true other half. You mean the world to me. Love you." True other half. You hear that, Nick? You're easily replaceable. Just want you to know that. And then the best.
I was making sure you didn't have it like upside down.
You know. That's so cute. Oh my god. With the little gold straw and everything. Oh, it's so bougie.
It came with 2 different straws, so you have options.
I love that. This one feels just more sophisticated.
Yeah. It's giving Love is Blind.
Yes! Oh my god. Man, that show is so trashy, but I
know.
I finally finished Couple to Thruple. I just
Yep.
Wild.
I know.
We watch really trashy TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like our guilty pleasure is trashy reality television.
Yes. Although I did restart Bridgerton, which is not like reality TV, but it's like still I have to watch something because there's
That's a book too, right? We've talked about this in Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really good books. Oh my god, that's so sweet. Okay. I can't close the box now.
Oh my gosh, you're struggling.
I told you,
lady.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Just give it to me.
Oh, I'm so excited. That'll be fun.
Yay!
So now you gotta watch us do like wedding planning stuff too
Yeah.
on future episodes.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, because Nick's not gonna help.
No.
And I asked Lindsay at her birthday to be my bridesmaid, so she got a little box too.
Oh, that's so
and it
cute.
was funny because she was kind of tipsy and she's like sitting on the ground where she was doing her presents, and she like had read it and she was like, "Hell yeah, I'll be your bridesmaid!" It was so funny.
Tipsy Lindsay is hilarious.
It's so much fun. Yeah, I love it.
Because I feel like Lindsay's kind of in that same vein where it's like she doesn't drink very often. Like, in the terms of like,
She does.
Does she?
I guess. I mean, she doesn't like get wild all the time, but she drinks every time she goes out.
Oh, I guess that's fair. I just think of like me,
or like anytime we go to Tony and Sheila's, she drinks there the entire time.
Oh. Yeah, see,
Lindsay or Sheila bartends up some drinks for him, and
Sheila actually is a really good bartender.
Yeah,
like a fucking.
Props. I can't handle some of her drinks though because they're a bit strong for me.
She's a heavy pourer.
She's a heavy pourer.
She is a heavy pourer.
Or like I had a drink at Lindsay's, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is killing me."
Because we don't drink very often,
and
so
she's like, "Just take big drinks," and I was like, "Sheila, this is really killing me right now."
Yeah, just gulp it down faster.
I'm like trying. I'm like, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
So, anyways, now to our like planned, scheduled content.
I'm just gonna have a goofy ass smile on my face. It's fine.
She's all giddy.
I am.
Okay. We had gotten a recommendation, suggestion, whatever word you want to use, for a topic.
We've gotten a couple of them now.
Yeah.
And so one of them is to have William as a guest speaker, which that we are going to do.
Requires some extra planning because of the children's.
We have to find somebody to watch our kids so that he can do that. So, but it will happen in a future episode. So
yes.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. And maybe we can even try to get Nick on for one too. He's just like,
well, so I don't know why I'm covering my face.
I was like, you have a microphone.
Good luck.
Okay, so we'll have William on a future episode. Just takes a little bit more planning. But for our suggestion today, it is how we will handle, or how we think we will handle, our children entering into the world of having sex. Icky.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's crazy. The day that this suggestion came, she texted me and was like, "Hey, we got a suggestion," and I was like, "Cool. Listen to what just happened."
Yeah. Wild.
So Like we've talked about, Jesse recently got a phone, right? There was a situation a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago.
to protect the people involved, we'll keep it pretty
Yeah,
vague.
Nick texts me and is like, "Hey, there's something going on, like a conversation on Jesse's phone. He's actually handling it very
I was
well."
so fucking impressed with
Yeah,
Jesse.
I was too.
So
And I like
impressed.
made sure to tell him, "I'm very proud of you. I'm very
Mhm.
like, you handle this very well. These are the kinds of things that like you need to do to show me you are ready for a phone."
Yeah.
So what had happened was his girlfriend, whatever, was texting him about like they had just had a dance and she had said, told him, "Oh, I thought you wanted to have sex in the bathroom." They are 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
11.
Fifth
Okay.
graders, elementary school. And
We
he
did
was like,
not think we would be running into this for quite a few
right.
years.
And he's like, "What? No."
Yeah.
Like, no. And then she's like, something along the lines of like, "Be honest, would you?" "I can't say I wouldn't," or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, never." And she's like, "Just tell the truth. Don't be scared." And he's like, "Stop."
Mhm.
And she's like, "Because I would."
Yeah.
And like saying that she would. And he's like, "Stop." Like,
He made it
"No."
very
And like he
clear
kept telling her to
he was
stop.
uncomfortable with the
Yeah.
conversation.
And then he finally got to a point where he was like, "I'm freaking done."
Yeah.
And she's like, "With what?" And he's like, "All of this. I'm done." He like he was done.
Yeah. Like
Didn't feed into it.
he put down a boundary, and
Yeah.
when she kept crossing that boundary, he was like, "Cool, you're not respecting that boundary. I'm done with
Yeah.
all of
So it's
it."
like
Like he
she
did
sends me
so
this
good.
suggestion and I'm like, "Dope, look at this." Because like I had Nick send me a picture of the
Yeah.
conversation so that I could see what was going on. So then I had the mom's number, so then I had to text her and was like, but it's like such a sensitive thing. Like, how do you, especially at this age, like, how do you tell another parent, like, "Hey,
Your kid is having a conversation that is way beyond their
yeah."
years.
So it like put me in a very uncomfortable situation, but it's like I couldn't just like if it was Jesse, I'd want to know, like
Oh,
I'd want to be told.
100%. If
Um,
Carly was doing anything like that and nobody told me,
yeah.
oof.
So like I had texted the mom and I was like, "Hey," and I was like just about to start work, right? So I'm like, "Hey, I'm just about to start work, so if you respond and I don't reply, I'll get to you on my like next break." And I had just said like I just have like some concerns about the messages that Jesse's receiving from her.
Mhm.
And then she asked me to send her the screenshot, so I did, and she was like, "Oh my god, I have no words. I'm so sorry." And I was like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at her.
No.
I'm more so just like concerned
Yeah.
about
Because you
about
know that
this.
there's like societal pressures and peer pressure and like things going on
Well,
within.
and then the next day, Jesse gets a text from her that's a Snapchat screenshot. Some girl posted on her Snapchat story some other girl messaging her, calling this girl uh, a bitch and a whore, and then referred her to or compared her to. She says, "Yeah, you fuck a lot of boys, just like," and had said the name of the girl who like
Mm,
Jesse's, you know.
yeah.
And so it's like, and that was posted to like this Snapchat story. The girl got a hold of it, sent it to Jesse. So then I had to tell the girl's mom, I had to text the girl's mom again and was like, "Hey, just so you know, this is out on social media.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know because, like, you know, I don't want it to blindside you if she comes home upset."
Yeah.
And then also the school called me that same day about something not to do with Jesse. It actually had to do with Carly because some kid
Yeah.
called her the N word in class. She wasn't
Good.
in trouble. It was more
If
just like a reassure her that that's like not a good word.
yeah, as
And
TLDR, Carly got caught looking up that word on Google because she didn't know what it
yeah,
meant. So she got taken to the principal's office, and then she had to explain why she was Googling it, and it's because another kid called her that, and
yeah.
it was a whole
So they
fucking
called
thing.
just to like let us know the
Yeah.
situation. But yeah, anyways, so I was like, "Hey, well, I've got you on the phone. There's this
Mm,
picture
that's going
that's
around.
going around." And so he had me send it to him. and like whatever happened there because they were having issues with the girl who like called the other girls outside. Anyways, drama, right? 11-year-old drama. But like I thought this was like high school
Right.
shit.
I would expect this in middle school at bare minimum.
Yeah.
Elementary school though, the fuck.
Yeah.
Like
and like Jesse's not allowed to have social media.
Yeah.
He cannot have Snapchat.
Mm-mm.
He is on like this is why I wanted him to have an iPhone so that I could have a lot of control over it. Like if he wants even a new free game app, I get a text message with a request. I have to approve it. So it's like he can't even download Snapchat without me knowing. He can't have a secret snap, like he can't do those things.
But this is what the difference is though between like young moms versus older moms, because it's like that older generation, it's not like they're like I wouldn't consider them bad parents or that they're intentionally neglecting the online safety of their kids. It's they grew up in an era that did not have internet access. Like they have no idea what you are capable of doing online, on your phones, on social media. And so they don't know how to work technology the same way we do. So they don't know that they can block things like Snapchat or Facebook or whatever. And so it's like we're kind of privileged in that boat of being able to have that knowledge of like Carly flat out, she actually asked me the other day of why Jesse got a phone and she didn't.
Well, he's a year older. She doesn't get everything that he gets, and she's not mature enough.
And that was the exact conversation that I had with her, because I was like, to be very transparent, the things that Shelby needed the phone for, I get those same reassurances with the kids watch that she has. And the kids watch is like much more restricted in terms of what she can do on it, but I can track her location. She can contact me in an emergency. Like I'm much more comfortable with her having a smartwatch than a whole ass phone.
So, which like I could have gotten him a watch too, but he's
so much more mature than Carly is though, like, that
I was going to be getting him a phone going into middle school anyways.
Exactly.
But I was like, I wasn't going to go waste money on a watch.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah. But that's like the privilege that we have as parents who are so much more familiar with technology than these other parents are. So it's like, that's why in those situations, I would feel comfortable reaching out to those parents, because like they may not even like I doubt my mom knows what Snapchat is.
Yeah. Well, the parent of the girl, she's our age. We actually found out that we know each other.
Oh, that's
from like back. She has this really vivid memory of
me. Is this that chick?
Yeah. The fair memory.
And she lets her kid have Snapchat.
All of Jesse's friends have Snapchat.
What the fuck?
They all have it.
That I try not to judge other parenting, but like I'm judging in this moment. Like why would you let your kids have Snapchat? Like,
yeah, no. It's a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's like so it was crazy when she was like, this is like how we'll deal with them having sex. And I was like, oh, so speaking of. But it was just so wild because, yeah, I didn't think that I would be dealing with this stuff. I was like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I thought I had a few years. Like, I was 14 when I lost my virginity.
I was 15.
And so it's like, and know that we're inching closer to
you're getting age. Real close.
But just because I did at 14 doesn't mean he's going to at 14.
Right.
Like, I'm hoping that he will make better choices than I did, obviously, but it's going to happen. I just didn't think that like the talk about it would happen. Like when I was 11, I was not talking about sex.
This shit. No. When I was 11, oh God, I'm trying to think back.
I was like, it was like a whole thing if you like held hands with a boy still at 11.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, you guys are holding hands?
Right. Because I think back to my first like serious crush was 6th grade. So I would have been, what, 12? And that was still in the realm of like, oh my God, don't tell him I like him. Like it was still.
Or you tell your friend, can you go ask him if he likes me?
Literally. I remember hiding
And
up.
then he says yes. Can you ask her if she likes me? And then you go back and then you're like, will you go ask him if he'll be my boyfriend?
And then your boyfriend and girlfriend, but you don't
But you don't
actually
talk.
talk to each
You
other.
use your friend to talk.
Yeah.
Can you go ask him if I can have a sweatshirt?
God, we're so fucking stupid. Because I literally have this vivid memory of me standing at the top of this very tall slide at Central Elementary. Because back then, sixth grade was still elementary school.
Yeah.
But I'm like standing on the slide while my friend Catalina is going to talk to this boy to see if he likes me. And I'm like scouting out and watching from the top of the slide. And then he like looks at me and I'm like, oh fuck. And I go down the slide.
Abort mission, abort
Like,
mission.
I'm just playing on the playground. It's fine. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now like Jesse will come home and he's like, oh man, drama. And I'm like, well, what's going on now? And he's like, oh, so and so, he wants a break from so and so. And she's all upset because she doesn't want to break up. And he just wants a break. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys don't even know.
God.
And then I'm like, hey, so and this so and so that his friend is dating is Jesse's ex-girlfriend. He's like,
Oh
yeah,
my
it's whatever.
God.
I told him it was cool. I'm like, this is your second friend to date your ex-girlfriend.
She's getting around.
Oh my God, yeah. These fucking 11-year-olds, dude. I can't even.
So it's like happening earlier and earlier with every generation. And it's honestly, it has a lot to do with technology and how easy it is for kids to communicate with each other now.
Well, and just learn too about these things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of the like in between shows, like in between the like little kid cartoon age
Oh
and like
yeah.
adult, there's still a lot of
Innuendos.
sexual, yeah,
Yeah. It's
where it's like there's like kissing or
mm-hmm.
like I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, like Carly is really into the zombie high school movies or whatever
Mm,
the fuck they're called on Disney.
yeah.
And but it's they're high schoolers.
Yeah.
But it's like that's what's available for like kids those age. So she's learning like very high school friendship dynamics and she's 9
Yeah.
and it's like there's nothing that's more geared towards younger kids.
Mhm.
It's interesting. But it's like when we
Yeah.
were that age, we were watching Zoe 101 and like
Yeah, which Jesse watches Zoe 101,
yeah.
which is why I think he asked to go to boarding school that one time because I think he thinks that it's Zoe 101. And I'm like, I'll send your
That's
ass to boarding
yeah,
school,
but
but
it
you're
ain't
in
what you
for
think it
a
is.
you're in for a surprise there, buddy. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know how I will handle. Here's my thing. I want them to be comfortable enough with us and I want them to
Mhm.
have the relationship with us where they do feel comfortable coming to us as far as like, hey, I'm thinking about starting to have sex
Yeah.
or if they've already done it, hey, I am having sex. Hopefully they come to us beforehand, but I hope that we have built that trust with them where they at least I don't I don't want to know, but I want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's hard.
I want to know that they are thinking about it
Yeah.
so that we can have the right conversations with them about it.
Exactly. Like that's my thing is like I would like in the situation that is happening in other like friend groups and stuff is like getting blindsided with the fact of my kids already having sex. Like
Yeah.
I want to be able to have a conversation with them beforehand so we can talk about
About like birth control and
your
safe sex and
exactly like what are your feelings around this
like don't push boundaries like if he or she's not
consent.
ready. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And that's why with Carly, she's actually because they start like the sexual health classes in fourth grade. So she actually just had her first puberty class this last week, and I was
they do it again in 5th grade because Jesse just had it too again.
yeah. So I had a because they send home like a sheet of paper because you can opt out of the conversations or which I think is like crazy to me. I'm just like, but different strokes for different folks. But so I like went through the paper to see like what are they going to be talking about, like what are the topics. So I had a conversation with Carly about it before the class. Then she had her class. Then we debriefed, and now they're having another puberty class next week to talk about like periods and stuff. It's where they separate the boys and the girls, and they talk about like specifics to their gender. And so had another upfront conversation about that before it happens, and I'm planning on debriefing again after it, because I want it to be one of those things where it's not a taboo subject and she
it's not
feels
awkward to talk about.
exactly like I don't want her to feel uncomfortable in this space, especially because this puberty class that they did was about consent and protecting yourself. And like I didn't really like how they referred to everything as like private body parts, and I don't know.
Would prefer they just use the name.
Exactly. As I've read horror stories of people who've used like nicknames, and so when kids like talk about being touched inappropriately, it's not being picked up on because they're using
a nickname.
Yeah. A nickname. It's like, no, I need you to understand that you like.
That's why like Baker, we're potty training him right now, right?
Yep.
And
it kind of makes it for like a little bit of hilarity, but
yeah, but it's like I want him to know I want him to know that it's a penis that he has, right?
Exactly.
So it's like he will like Nick has taught him like, oh, tap your penis to like get the dribbles off. So like when he after he goes, we'll say tap your penis, and then Baker goes tap your penis, or he'll go sometimes like when things get stuck together.
Yeah.
He'll go, oh, gotta fix my penis.
That's actually pretty funny.
Curtis heard it one day when they were playing video games, and he goes, "What the fuck did he just say?" And Nick was like, "He's got to fix his penis." Yeah, and he's like, "What the hell's going on in that house?" Or like I was in the bath one night, and Baker comes up to me, and he goes, "Haha, mommy, your penis," and I was like, "Yeah, mommy doesn't have a penis." And then he goes, "Haha, mommy, your butt." And I was like, that's not what that is either, but okay. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like I want them to know the actual names for the body parts, because same thing, it's like I've heard stories of, you know, you teach your kids, you don't want them to, it's like a bad word, even though it's not, it's a body part,
it's just a body part.
Yeah. And so it's like you use these other words for it, but then if somebody's like you're taking away their autonomy in being able to express that they, and then it just turns into adults being awkward. Like that was me, that like like I wasn't taught the names for body parts. I don't remember what it was that I called. My sister would remember because she like remembers me saying things. But like I wasn't taught, and so like the older I got, I would be very uncomfortable if somebody said the word vagina around me. I was like, what? Because you were taught that it was like an bad, uncomfortable, like you're not supposed to say that. It's, you know. Yeah. And so it's like I'm better about it now. Nick would argue that I'm not, but I'm better about it now, honestly, than I was 10 years ago. Yeah. I mean, also having babies will do that to you, but for real. But yeah, so it's like I don't want my kids to not know the actual names for their body parts for that reason. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And that's why with this class that they did, I was so stoked to have Carly go to it, because the whole class was around understanding like boundaries. Like you are never to show somebody or let somebody touch your vagina without like never. And it even has like doctors and parents with expressed consent. Mm-hmm. Like, and Carly was like, well, what the hell does that mean? It's like, well, if I ever take you to the doctor for, let's say you start your period, you have to start going in every year to make sure that everything's normal. The doctor is going to ask, and if they don't ask, you need to express if you are comfortable with them looking or whatever. And it's like when that time comes, like I will walk her through every step of what she should expect. So if something were to happen that she's uncomfortable with, she can speak up and say no. Mm-hmm. And so I love, because I didn't get that when I was in 4th grade. No, we had a talk in 6th grade. Yep. But it was, but not 4th grade. It was very centered around like puberty and periods, and it's like at that point, it wasn't a consent talk. It was literally just periods. Yeah, and it's at that point,
I was already having my period.
Yeah.
So I was like, fucking snooze fest.
Yeah.
So I like that they are having these conversations earlier because
Mhm.
like I know that Carly and like we've already talked about, she's prepped and ready to go. She
Yeah.
has an emergency kit in her backpack that has extra pair of underwear. It has pads in it. Like it has a whole bunch of stuff. It even has like some chocolate in there, which actually, you know what? I should probably check that because I'm
I was
sure
gonna say that's probably not there anymore.
the chocolate's probably not there anymore.
And if it is, I will be very
I
surprised.
I will be shocked as well. But it's like you need to have those conversations earlier because it's like I started my period when I was 10.
Yeah.
So having a conversation in 6th grade was a fucking moot point.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah. So it's like I mean, my hope is that they'll come to us before it happens, right?
Yeah.
But like I mean, I honestly it's hard for me to sit here and be like this is how I'm going to handle it because until I'm in that situation,
Yeah, oh
I honestly don't know how I'll handle it
I have no
because of
idea.
how I raised, I am very Jesse is a lot more comfortable talking to Nick about these things.
Yeah.
Jesse does talk to Nick a lot more than he talks to me. He will talk to me. A lot of it's just like I'm not home in the evenings for him to talk to.
Mhm.
But like when it comes to things like that, he is a lot more comfortable talking to Nick. And I think it's because Nick isn't awkward and Nick is just very like blunt and honest and
Yeah.
doesn't sugarcoat things, which
There's some pros and cons to
yeah.
that, but
Especially because Jesse like is an emotional kid and needs like sometimes a little bit more emotion behind it.
yeah, he needs a little bit of empathy.
And yeah, so it's like I am glad Jesse's comfortable talking to Nick about it, and like Nick, you better come talk to me about it.
Right? Like just
Like don't leave me out of the
loop
loop of these
loop us
things.
in.
But yeah, I don't. I mean, I honestly don't know how I'll handle it.
I see that's the thing is like I don't know how I will handle it, but I do know how I won't handle it.
Right,
If
I
that
won't get
makes sense.
mad
Yeah, like I
or
it
try to scare them out of it or try to punish them out of it.
yeah, anything that my mom did, that's off the table because I
Oh
know
yeah.
that it didn't work because all it did was push me to sneak out my window and go do shit that I should not have been doing at that age.
Yeah. I mean, I got pregnant at 15, so
Yeah.
and started having sex at 14. So,
I kind of, and that's like the scary thing is I really abuse the fact that, so I have like an awful cycle. Like it's fucking terrible. So my mom put me on birth control at a very young age. I think I was like 13 or 14 when I started birth control because like I was missing like weeks of school because mine were so bad. And
so same. My doctor prescribed me Vicodin
yeah,
because of how bad it was. Like
and
I would pass out from the pain.
yeah, and my mom just like would not have this like conversation with me about sex and literally was so against me being on birth control because she didn't want me to use that as an excuse to have sex, but like refused to talk about it, did not have any sort of conversations regarding it, put me on the birth control because I needed it for pain and management and stuff, and like sent me on my merry fucking way.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, I now have free reign to do whatever because she didn't have any sort of conversation with me about
Yeah.
other repercussions or.
Yeah, and my mom did talk to me. I honestly don't really remember the conversations. I actually don't even know if she had a conversation. The only like thing that I remember her saying is, "If you get pregnant while you're a teenager, I'm going to force you to have an abortion." And like that was very vivid
Yeah.
in my mind. But when I turned 13, she made me watch the movie 13, and that was
Mm.
her way of like, "This is what can happen."
Why are parents like my mom did the same exact thing where it was like it didn't have anything to do with sex or anything. It was like her way of having the conversation of if you ever do drugs. But
Well, it was like drugs, like all of it.
yeah, we never talked about it, but there was, remember those like fucking weird ass like dare commercials or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. There was like one really annoying one about this girl that was like rapping to, I don't know. I don't know. All I remember is that my mom said, if I ever catch you doing drugs, I'm going to tie you to a chair and make you watch this commercial over and over and over and over again.
Mm.
And that was the only conversation that we ever had about me doing drugs.
Yeah.
It's like,
We never had any, I mean, there's a lot blocked
yeah,
from my memories in like my teenage years with my mom. Like I remember like traumatic things that happened, but I don't have like a great memory of like certain like of like smaller conversations, I guess. And like the sex one, I just remember her telling me if you get pregnant, like while you're a teenager, you are going to get an abortion. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. I got pregnant,
yep,
and she took me. I told my dad, not her. My dad told her. She made me an appointment. She took me. Social worker made it seem like I didn't have a choice. Like they had asked,
yeah,
like, "Is this your choice or your parents?" And I said, "My parents." And they were like, "Yep, probably for the best." And that was that. And then, yeah, like as far as like drugs and alcohol, it was the movie 13.
yeah,
That fucking trashy ass
fucking,
movie.
that's wild.
But she also did it to like she did say like after watching it, she's like, okay, so like do you like you understand if you start having sex, like you're a slut and like all these things. Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. My mom, and like when I got older, my mom did call me like white trailer trash, a slut, a skank. Like she called me fucking everything.
Yeah, so it's like we
Um,
know what not to
right.
do because of our parents, but
And it's like I don't want them to think. Here's the thing too, is like I was raised sex is bad,
yeah,
you know? Sex is bad. Don't do it. It's bad. If you have sex, you're a slut,
yeah,
you
we
know?
like we don't want there to be that
I
like,
don't want there to be a bad stigma because then it just made me very uncomfortable. Even now as an adult, like Nick will joke that like I'm very uncomfortable talking about it. And
mm-hmm,
it's like, yeah, because it was ingrained in me that this was a bad thing. And as much as I can
exactly.
say now that like I know it's not a bad thing and whatever, it's still like an uncomfortable thing for me to talk
Like we
about.
still had to overcome those like traumas to be able to be like, I don't know the word. I'm not gonna say like freedom, but it was a hurdle to overcome to understand that like it is very normal to have that kind of intimacy in your relationships and in
Mm-hmm.
your marriage without having that sort of like shame or guilt, like
Mm-hmm.
because that was just so ingrained in us as we were growing up.
Yeah. So it's like I don't want them to think that it's bad. I want them to know that like I just want them to make good choices about it. Like
Yeah,
I want them to be protected. I want
exactly.
them to
It's human
choose the
nature.
right person who they're comfortable with
Yep.
and that respects their boundaries. And I want them to talk with
Mhm.
whatever whoever their partner is. I want them to be able to talk to them so that it's
Yeah.
not this awkward. Like it's gonna be your first time is always fucking
It's
awkward. Your first
always.
time with a new partner is awkward.
Yeah.
Fucking Nick had his pants on and his shoes the first time because his his words. I didn't know who was gonna come through your front door. This is what he said. I didn't know who was gonna come through your front door, so he kept his pants and his shoes on. Yep. Anyways,
Oh, that's so funny.
they need like but I want them to like be comfortable enough to be like this is what I'm comfortable doing, this is what I'm
Right.
not comfortable doing,
Like
like this is a
having those
boundary.
boundaries. I
You
was
know,
gonna
I
say
don't want
something.
Carly to easily be talked into not using a condom.
Right.
I don't want Jesse to think that he can push a girl to not use a condom.
Mm-hmm.
um
Like understanding boundaries and consent. Because it's like, I don't
and
want
safe
them,
sex.
right. Like, I don't want them to think that sex is taboo, but they also need to understand that there are very serious boundaries around it and that there are serious consequences to it if you are not careful. Because it's not just like the pregnancy thing, but
Hi,
like,
I have a million kids.
but it's like the STDs that you could
Yeah.
get. Like, they're like, you need to understand that if you decide to make that choice, it is a very serious choice that you're making, and so you should take it as seriously as it
Yeah, like
is.
it's not a joke. If you're
Right.
like laughing about it, you're not ready.
Yep.
Like, but then that like leads into the conversation of like, well, how do you, I guess, like foster that?
Right. Like, how do you nurture?
Like, do you say like, all right, go to your room and you can, like, where do you
Yeah.
expect them to do it? Like, if you're okay with it. My
Yeah.
thing is like, I want to be okay with it, but I don't want you to do it in my fucking house, But like, I also don't want you to go into a car and
Yeah. Because I've gotten caught by cops
in
doing
cars.
it in
Yeah,
a car, and like it was real awkward because the
yeah.
cop wouldn't even touch our IDs. Like he was so disgusted by what we were doing that he was like, "Nope, nope, just hold your IDs. I'll just flash a flashlight on them." And he like walks up and he's like, "Make sure that your pants are on." Oh my god! Like looking back, it was
That's funny.
so embarrassing. But it's like you also don't want to have like a fucking hotel sign on your house. It's like, come do it here.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
It's
it's like,
so hard to find like a good middle ground of like what are we actually okay with.
right. Yeah, exactly. So like
Mm,
that's the thing that I just don't know yet, right? Like
yeah.
I know how I want to react. I know the like what I want to teach them, but I don't know how to support.
Yeah.
Is that like I
Yeah.
don't know how to support them in that.
Yeah. I mean, because it's going to happen,
Yeah.
but it's like how do you navigate to that whole thing? Because like honestly, if my mom was like that and she was like, cool, I yeah, if my mom ever was
My
just like,
first partner's mom knew we were having sex in his room because she would knock on the door and then laugh.
see, and that's my thing is like I
She would just knock and then she'd hear us like, "Wah!" And then she'd go, ha ha ha, outside the door and then like walk downstairs. She didn't need anything.
she was trolling the fuck out of you guys.
Yeah, she just
Oh,
thought it was
that's
funny. But like
hilarious.
she knew what we were
Yeah,
doing.
and that's so interesting because that was my first partner. It was he lived with his grandparents, so but we would always do it at his grandparents' house because they were like working and stuff, and so it's like we knew that they weren't coming home till like 5:30, so we had a
Mm-hmm.
couple hours after school. Uh, so it's like teenagers will find a way.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know because it's like
But
it's
it's like I don't want them to go sneak around because like and like
yeah,
you
because
know
you can get in a lot of trouble. Like the cop that pulled us over. Well, okay, he
oh,
didn't.
were you driving?
No, it was. We were very fucking stupid. But it's like we could have gotten in a lot of fucking trouble
Yeah.
for that.
Right. Well, and like I don't want them to do it in a dirty spot and
Yeah,
like get some sort of infection or like
yeah. Or it's like there are stories of people who are doing it at parties and then they get caught and recorded and then it's on social
right,
media and
exactly.
it's like
Pictures are taken and like sent around. And that's another conversation to have is like,
right.
you
Like
know,
nudes
yeah.
and that kind of like do not be an idiot and do not fucking like don't do it because
And I will
that
say I was an idiot in high
same
school and
yep
there was one picture that went around to me and all the boys were like, "Hey Shelby." And I was like, "Fuck off."
yeah
Like I trusted this person
mm-hmm.
and like he blew my
And it's
trust
like
and
even worse now with things like Snapchat where it's
right.
like you think you're safe because the picture disappears after 10 seconds or whatever, but it's like they'll screenshot it and they know that the other person will get the notification that it has been
But what are they
screenshot.
going to do at
But
that
what are you
point?
going to do?
Yeah.
Like, you can't steal their phone and delete the screenshot. They now have that picture of you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's it's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like I just don't I don't know. I don't know. Cuz then that also begs the question like are you going to let their like partners stay the night?
Right. And I think it would be one of those things too where it's like I would want to have and this is the conversation that
I
I
would need to be comfortable with the partner.
yes, I would need to
Like we would need to have a relationship. And like They
Yes.
would have to be respectful of me, of
Mhm.
our kids. Like,
Yep.
don't be making out on the couch
Yeah,
where all of
respect
my
my
other,
boundaries
yeah,
as well.
right.
Because that was the thing with like my first boyfriend that I was had a sexual relationship with. My mom fucking hated him. Did not allow him, like I wasn't allowed to have anybody at my mom's house. Girls, boys, nothing. Like we were not allowed to be in my mom's house whatso fucking ever. Uh, and it was because of that that I fucking was like, it like pushed me towards him more of like, fine, be
Mm-hmm.
that way, like I'm gonna fucking go hang out with him. Like I would want to have a relationship with the significant other. I would want them to feel comfortable coming over to my place and talking with me and having because it's like I know that if you can respect me, you can respect my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I also would want to be able to have conversations with his parents so that, I
I know their boundaries,
yep. And it's
especially me having like, I have 3 sons, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
I, as bad as it is to say, it is more like, I feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm trying to say, right? Like, I feel like I have so much more responsibility as being a
Yes.
boy mom
Mm-hmm.
to teach, and like 100% it goes both ways.
But
Like,
there's a
girls need to respect
lot.
that too, as we like, Jesse just had this conversation where he set up boundaries with a girl, but I do feel like it is more expected of boy parents to.
Well, especially with like the Me Too movement, you have this fucking Harrison Buttlicker asshole with the speech that he just did, and everybody in America jumping up on that. Did you hear that speech?
Mm-mm. I'm always working or sleeping or coaching soccer.
That's
So
fair.
like, I don't
It's
I
he.
I just told this to Nick. He's like, "Have you not seen those TikToks?" And I was like, "I'm never fucking on
Yeah,
TikTok
that is
anymore, dude."
fair.
Like,
TLDR, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs somehow, for some fucking reason, got invited to a college commencement to do a speech. And his speech was filled with bigotry and misogynist ideas and just
mm,
spewing hatred. He told all of these women at this college who are getting like 4-year degrees, your accomplishment does not matter because the greatest thing that you have to look forward to in your life is being a wife and a mother. Yeah. And every like
so now there's gonna be a whole hatred against the Kansas City Chiefs.
well, the Kansas City Chiefs came out with a statement of like, we do not we do not agree with him whatsoever. He did that on his own fucking time. That's his own fucking opinion. And it's like he even went and spouted off about like Catholic because he's very devout Catholic. The nuns from the Catholic Church even came out and was like, "We don't know
Nope,
what the
nope,
fuck
nope,
he's
nope.
talking about," because he was spewing like 1950s shit. But there are
So old
men that
school.
are like rallying behind him of like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, dude." That's what we are. We're fucking baby makers to some of these fucking people, and it's like, but that's an NFL player that young men look up to. And so it's like we have to battle against that of like women are not your fucking playthings. They're not objects that you can control. We do not belong in a kitchen making a fucking sandwich. Like it's
I don't cook. Nick
I don't
cooks.
fucking cook either. I would starve to death without William. Like
I wouldn't starve to death. I'd just be a lot fatter because I'd eat out a lot more
oh yeah.
at fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
Delete the previous thing that I said. I would not do that.
Yeah. It's like that.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that because I now that you say it, I think I heard people at work talking about something like that,
Yeah.
but
It's like
it's like
it's
I do feel a really big weight having 3 boys,
mm-hmm.
and like even with girls too, it's like that's a really big responsibility as far as teaching them to stand up for themselves and to
Yes.
not be. But it's like those things also have to be taught to our boys, right? Like Jesse, I had to reinforce to him, like, I'm
Yeah.
very proud of you for holding your boundary and
Exactly.
keeping
Like
your
he did
boundary.
so good with
And so
that.
it's like, it's something we have to teach to our sons and our daughters.
Mhm. You cannot be timid in those situations. Like you got to speak the fuck up.
Right. It's just more, what's the thing? I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of right now. Uh, Not like more likely that a boy is going to pressure a girl. I just feel more responsibility having boys that like I need
Yeah.
to teach them respect.
Yeah. It yeah, I know what you're trying to say. I just can't think of the word for it either.
Yeah.
It's just that's just kind of like how it is right now with the way society is, and
It's that boys are the instigator, and
yeah.
so it's like having boys, and it's like obviously a long while before like Baker and Lincoln and like the girls
Yeah.
get there, but like Jesse is getting to that age, right? So it's like talking about like wanting to be comfortable with their partner.
Mhm.
Like I want to have a relationship with them, as far as like, cool, if you're going to be around my kids in my house,
Yep.
like I want to know you. I
Mhm.
want, you
And
have
their
to, and their
parents.
parents. So
Like
it's
I
like
want to
I'd
be
want to
able to
know.
communicate, because it's like if my mom was in communication with any of my boyfriend's parents, I would have been able to get away with a lot less shit. Because how easy
Oh
was it
yeah.
for me to be like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend's parents are at home."
Even my friends, like
The snort of
this one time I wanted to stay the night with my boyfriend. So, cuz his neighbor, they were like Korean and they lived in
oh,
Korea a majority of the
yeah.
year. And their son would mainly stay at their house because he went to college in like Seattle. But like his
Mhm.
son didn't care; he was a fucking college kid.
Yeah.
But like when he would leave, my boyfriend would house sit for them, and
Mm.
his parents were strong ass Christians.
Oh
They
yeah.
did not like me. Um, but because I got pregnant with him at 15, so they were like,
oh.
yeah. Anyways, so before that had happened though, so he was gonna be house sitting.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, I want to go stay the night with my boyfriend. So my friend,
Yep.
she was dating an older guy in high school. Like he was like 21,
Mhm.
22. My and I was this was when I was living with my dad. My dad didn't talk to any of my friends' parents,
Same.
but he tried to be that like, well, I want to talk to their parent, but he wouldn't ask to like talk to them face. It was just like, I want that, like I want to call them. Well, dope. Three-way calling is a thing, so I can make it sound like I'm with this person, right?
Oh yeah.
So I call,
Easily.
so I call my friend's boyfriend, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call my dad, and then I'm gonna pretend like I'm calling for you in the other room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
dad, rest your soul, I love you, but
I used to do that shit all the
and so
time.
then, I'd call my dad, be like, all right, well, I'm gonna call like her dad's name is Kenny, and that was his real name too. This is the guy's real fucking name. So I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna call him, and dad's like, all right, and I'd be like, hey, Kenny, and then you just hear Kenny come on. Hey, yep, I'm Haley's dad. How's it going? And my dad'd be like, all right, I just want to make sure everything's. And he's like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, if you need anything, just call Shelby, and like I can come to the phone whenever you need. And meanwhile, I'm at my fucking boyfriend's neighbor's house.
Oh yeah. Cuz because my mom was the same way. She didn't talk to any of my friends' parents. And so it was
Yeah.
really easy for me to be like, "Oh, I'm spending the night at Kylie's house." And then she'd be like, "Okay, whatever, have fun."
Bye.
And I'd be over at my boyfriend's house because
You
it's like,
see those memes that's like back in my day, our parents thought we were at our friend's house. Meanwhile, we were drunk in a ditch, almost dying.
yes.
Yeah,
yes.
story of my high school years.
And
So
so
it's
it's
like I don't want that. Like I want
yeah.
to like, and I feel like I'm instilling that now, like pretty well, where it's like I
Mhm.
have a relationship with all of Jesse's closest friends. I know their parents. I
Yep.
have their numbers, or we're friends on Facebook. I talk to them. I communicate with them.
I
And it's like these are boys he's going to be going into high school with. So it's like I know how to get a hold of them. So if he says
mhm.
like, oh, I'm going to so and so's house, I can be like, dope. I'm gonna
Yeah.
check with their mom just to make sure.
Exactly.
So it's like I want to have a relationship with like his girlfriend's parents too when they're older, because it's like same thing, like what are your boundaries, like if they want to stay the night, like what are your boundaries with that, because it's like my little brother, his girlfriend's in high school, she's a senior graduating next month,
Yeah.
he stays the night at her house. He has for the last year. Her parents let him stay the night. So it's like I want to be that parent that's like okay with it. And honestly, I think that I will be depending on my living situation, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not sharing a room with any other kids. His room's not next to my room.
It's down the
It's
hall.
like we're like, for a 2-story, you're downstairs, or like I don't want you upstairs from me.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to be that parent that's okay with it because at least I know they're safe in my home. At least like
Yes.
they're safe in my home.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be able to help provide like what I can provide, whether that's like we go get him condoms every now and again, and like just don't even have to say anything, just put it like
Yeah. Just have it.
just
Have
have
it
it
there.
there and available so that they have it. That's going to be a Nick job. But yeah, so it's like I just want them to be safe and make the right decisions, and I want them to be informed about things
Yeah.
because that was my thing too. Like I didn't have access in high school. I didn't have internet on my phone, so it's like I couldn't just Google
Oh yeah.
whatever I wanted, and so it's like
No.
I was so naive about so many things.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I had
At least though, at least I wasn't an adult ass person thinking that a man getting a vasectomy meant their balls got chopped off because
what?
somebody that I know, his wife thought that a man getting a vasectomy was the equivalent to a dog getting neutered.
It's not the same. It's not the same, sis.
Yeah. I was like, wow, your wife's a real winner. She does not like me, so.
See, but that's the thing though, is like we have grown ass adults who do not understand like sexual anatomy and like how things work because those conversations aren't happening. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
As even having grown ass men who think that we pee and bleed out of the same hole. Like y'all and then they wonder why they can't find the clitoris. Like
Yeah.
I just don't get it. It's fucking wild. But yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Like Carly, she has like this one guy friend that nobody can find. Like none of us like him.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah, it's
Can't
that one.
stand this fucking
Can't
kid.
stand this fuck. But it's like
I hope he doesn't go to her birthday.
honestly though, like he's such a like he's very respectful. Like every time that I see him, he waves to me and says hi to me.
That is like the annoying thing about him.
But but it's like that's honestly it's like very respectful that he talks to me as well. It's just this kid's just
He's a lot.
he's so much. But I have his dad's phone number.
I have his
and
dad's phone number too.
Oh really?
Jesse played baseball with him last
Oh
year.
shit, yeah, that's right.
So we were all part of a group chat.
Yeah, and I actually met his mom earlier this year because we went to his birthday party, so had a conversation with his mom. And it's one of those things that it's like I'm going to maintain these, I wouldn't call them friendships, but I'm going to keep the communication channels.
I'm friends with Jesse's friends' parents.
Okay, I would become friends with the parents if I liked their children.
You don't like other children though.
Taylor though, I like Taylor a lot. It also helps that both of her parents are teachers at the school, so like.
Oh, is this the one that she was gonna do the talent show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she seems sweet.
Yeah.
From the like field trip that I went on.
Yeah, super sweet, and like both of the parents are very.
I've seen them at multiple school things.
Yeah,
they are
like,
very nice.
They're very involved, very nice. So it's like there are people that like they're just a generation above us. Like they had their
where
kid.
like I can very easily talk to like
I can't.
I can
I can't.
I can mask myself to be who I need to be. She can't.
No. So these people who are like 15 years older than me, I'm just like,
oh, what do you want for coffee?
Oh fuck, that's right. I was supposed to send him my order.
Oops, I almost just texted him 1 sex instead of 1 sec.
Wow, getting forward with my man here. God.
That is one thing you'll never have to worry about.
I mean,
we have very different tastes in men. not that like William's like ugly or anything, but like she dated Nick when I would not have dated
Yeah.
Nick.
And it's funny because we do comment on that all the time about having different things, but they're like, "Oh, but she's dating your ex," and it's like, no, like we dated him at very different periods of his life. Like I when Nick and I were together, like it was high school and right after high school.
What were we talking about before I got distracted? We got distracted.
You were making fun of my inability to make nice with people who
Oh
are
yeah.
not of our
So she
age
very
group.
much needs me for that. So
Yes.
like
Because I feel like a child going to like this one particular kid's house because the parents are 15 years older than me. And so I'm just like, uh, like I don't know how to interact. I'm just
yeah.
like,
Whereas like I mean Jesse's friends' parents aren't that much older than me.
mm-mm. It's funny because I get along with Jesse's friends' parents more than I do Carly's friends' parents because I actually like see them more often because I'll go to like baseball games and basketball games and stuff. And so it's like I now know them by name. And one of them did a field trip with me. And so we hung out the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like those are Jesse's friends' parents, not
Well,
Carly's
a
friends'
couple of them
parents.
have kids in Carly's grade
Yeah.
too. Carly's just not friends with them. She has a very different friend group
Yeah.
than Jesse's friend group. Jesse has a very like sports,
Mm-hmm.
athletic.
Carly's definitely going to be like the
Carly's definitely going
theater
to be the
kid.
theater. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like arts, theater, which like one of the what are they called? Specials in middle school is theater music or something. It's like drama club or whatever. So
Oh, the electives.
electives, yeah.
Yeah, one of the
So
electives.
she'll be excited for that when
Oh,
she
I'm
does her
sure.
electives. I'm going to be learning new languages next year, so I'm
Yeah.
either going to be learning Lummy or Chinese. I don't know. Jesse's was his top three were Lummy language, intro into world languages, and leadership. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of
Overlap.
kids signing up for Lummy language,
Mm,
which is like if you don't know, it's a native language.
yeah.
Because like the school district we're in is right next to a native land, and the native land, their school district, if they're not going to that native school district, is our school district.
Yeah.
And so it's really awesome that they offer that. And I think it's super cool because you also learn about the culture more and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And from my understanding, they learn or they like, there's like food, there can be food involved. We are not native, but Nick is Lummy. And so
I think it's awesome that.
Jesse like really likes to learn about the culture. I
Mm-hmm.
think because it like makes him feel more connected to Nick and his
Yeah.
family.
Which I think
Um
is really cool that he's doing that.
yeah, so but I say all this to say like it's a primarily like white kids school, you
Yeah.
know? There's not a ton of diversity in
Not
the
at
school.
all.
There's like a little bit, but there's not a lot. And there's not a lot of like a lot of the native kids do go to the native school. There are some that are in there. So I just don't see a lot of kids signing up for Lummy language as
Yeah.
like their first choice. So I do think Jesse will get into that. It's but those ones are like a semester
Mm-hmm.
ones. So it's like he might have Lummy language first semester and then intro into world languages the
For
next
the second
semester,
semester.
which that one is all over. It's like German, Spanish, French, Japanese. Like it has a bunch of different
That's
languages in it.
crazy.
So that'll be really cool. But yeah, middle school. So like yeah, the more he gets into middle, like older, I'm like these things are gonna start to come up.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. Because that's, I mean, for me,
because I was in eighth grade.
yeah.
I was in middle school.
Mm-hmm. And middle school was really when it was like those
And that was
types
the first time I smoked weed.
conversations were
Yeah.
happening. So, and it's crazy because it's like the conversations that Jesse's having with his friends now, like that was the shit that we were talking about in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that shit's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how we'll 100% handle it, but I hope that I handle it in a way that doesn't like
Push them away.
right, because it's like I want to be the mom too, where it's like if his friends aren't comfortable talking to their parents, I
Mhm.
want his friends to feel comfortable talking to me. If his girlfriend's not comfortable talking to her parents, I
Right.
want his girlfriend to feel comfortable talking to me because I'm very much the type of person where I'm not afraid to advocate for my kids, right?
Yes.
Like
We're not going to make like decisions on other kids'
right, but I can at
behalf.
least like go talk to like if you're scared to talk to your parent, talk to me, I'll go talk to your parent.
Yep.
Like I like to the point where like one of our friends, her son just got attacked in like a bullying situation this
Mhm.
week and she made a meeting with the school and I was like if you need me for anything, like let me know. I'm happy to go with you. And she's like, yeah, I need somebody more assertive because she's like not assertive
It's
and
like,
she like needed that for the situation that it was. And so I was like, dope, I will be there.
got you.
So it's like I want Jesse to be so comfortable with me that he can tell his friends that they can be comfortable with me too because they need somebody to feel safe with,
Yes.
like, and to not make them feel bad about the feelings that they're having or make them feel
Mhm.
bad about the urges that they're having because it's natural. Just because they're having them at 14, 15, 16 doesn't
Yeah.
invalidate them.
And that's huge because it's like when I was in high school, like I had a mom that was like, because I couldn't talk to my mom about fucking anything, but it was like my boyfriend's best friend's mom was that mom for our entire friend group. Like we could go to her for anything, and she was so like judgment free. She was
Mhm.
like she was so chill, and it was such a safe space to be able to go to her and say like, hey, I'm dealing with this thing, like I don't know what to do, I'm scared to go to my mom about it. I don't even talk to like these boys in my friend group anymore, but I'm still friends with her on Facebook.
Mhm.
Like she has been an incredible part of my life growing up, that it's like being that for like Jesse and his friend group, like that's incredibly important because you just never know like what their parental situation
Mhm.
is.
Yeah. And like I said, I do talk like his close friends, I do talk to their parents and see them. So it's like I don't know what their take on like this specific topic is,
Right.
but they're all very open. Like they do talk
Mhm.
to their children. They're all really great parents. Like Jesse does have a really good group of friends who like I'm so thankful for the group of friends that he's gravitated towards because it's like I love the kids and I
Yeah.
love their parents. Like I think that they're all so great. So it's like I don't think the group of friends that he has now will have that issue,
Yeah.
but high school, he's going to make other friends. Some of his friends could move, friendships die out. Like when you go into that next step of school, more kids enter in. So like your friend group change, like it's constantly
Oh
evolving.
yeah.
So it's like he might develop a friend that doesn't have that kind of support that his current friends do. You just never know. So I'm thankful now for what he has, but it's like I still want to be there for them however I can be because I mean I view them as like they're not my kids, right? I know they're not my kids, but it's like
Yeah.
I view my kids as kids as like I love them. Like
Mhm.
if anything happened to them, I'd be devastated.
Oh yeah.
Like they're my kids too. I want to be there for them and support them however I can as well. It's just that yeah, it's just the type of person that I am.
Mhm. I mean, and it's kind of goes back to like, it takes a village.
Yeah.
Like you need to have that extra support, and it's like it's the same reason why like we work so well together, because it's like we both have a love for each other's kids,
Mhm.
where it's I like I get freaked out when things happen with Jesse, that I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like it stresses me out, and he's not my kid.
Mhm.
But like that's just, you need that. Like you
Yeah.
need the support system.
Yeah. It's just, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to respond in the moment when the time comes. I just know I don't want to scare them. I don't want to
Mhm.
push them away. I don't want to punish them for feeling that way because all you're going to
It's
do,
natural for them to
it's
feel
natural.
that
Yeah, like
way.
there's no difference between a 16-year-old boy having that urge and a 26-year-old man having that. It's the same urge, just a different age, you
Yeah.
know?
It's primal. Like the it's and telling them to ignore their
And
like
nurturing them and teaching them how to handle that urge and the respectful way and teaching them boundaries is going to make it so that when he turns into a 26-year-old man, that man is respectful and he's not one of these predators per
Yeah.
se that women are so scared of
Yep.
when they walk to their car at night. Like I get off at 3:30 in the morning. I'm terrified every single time I leave work.
Mhm.
Like, A, did I piss somebody off
Yep.
that they're going to come attack me and hurt me? B, who flirted with me tonight? And do I think they're scary enough that they are were they still here when we closed? Are they going to be out
Yeah.
walking around the park? You know, like it's sad to say, but those are things that like we have to think about.
It's the whole man
And like, yes,
versus
there are women
bear.
predators too. I'm not trying to like be sexist that like guys don't have to be
It's just
careful
you
about
don't
things
have
too,
to
but
worry
it's
about women
more
predators.
common
Yeah.
for there to be, sorry to say it, but there's more common for there to be men predators prying on women.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's where this whole, I know there's like a man versus bear thing going on right now,
Mhm.
and it's like all women are like bear and men are getting offended by it. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
this book
This
that I'm reading right now for my book crew, it's like
yeah.
a real valid reason of
Yeah.
why you would choose bear. Okay.
Yeah. Cuz
I'm not done with it, but I've
yeah.
reached I've reached a real high point in it where I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I just know that like, yeah, I don't want to push them away. I don't want to terrify them. I don't want to make them feel bad about the feelings that they're having. I just want to make sure that like, A, they're being respectful, safe. I want to make sure both Carly and Jesse know to voice their boundaries and to
Yep.
talk about their boundaries and to hold strong on their boundaries, especially when it comes to safe sex. Like,
Mhm.
condoms are very important. I know that they're
Oh
not
yeah.
like the best thing, but they're very important for A, not getting pregnant, B, not catching an STD. Like,
Yeah. But it was so common for like at my age, like when I was doing that shit, boys hated the feeling of it and they would peer pressure you into trying to have sex without them. And it's like,
I didn't really deal with that as a teenager,
oh yeah,
but like
early.
late teens, early 20s, I had this one partner specifically who was like, I'm allergic to latex, can't wear condoms. And I was like, okay. Like, just
Oh
like totally dumb.
yeah, not
And like
realizing.
luckily nothing ever happened. Like nothing. I was. I've been very lucky
Yeah,
in my life, where like I haven't had that. But
it's like homeboy. There's
but I was still
alternatives
really
to
dumb to like.
latex.
Yeah, but I was 19 when I
Oh yeah, you didn't know that shit.
right. So yeah, so it was like that was his thing. It was like his wasn't like his was like, oh, I'd love to wear one, but I'm allergic, and I have to special order a different, and I just like I haven't done it. It's so it was like this whole fucking story that he laid out for me that
Man.
my dumbass 19-year-old self was like, yeah, okay, just don't knock me up, like
Oh god,
yeah.
that's wow. Men are creative.
Everybody's so creative. Yeah, so I mean, what do you guys think? Like, have you experienced this? How did
Yeah.
you handle it? I was going to do this. I'll have to do this next week, and then maybe we can go over some of the responses in our next video. But I was gonna post in like one of our mom groups,
Oh yeah.
experiences or thoughts to kind of go talk about for this. But yeah. Anyways,
It's been
it's been wild.
nuts.
So maybe I'll post again, just like, hey, you know,
Hmm.
just like curious, what have been your experience with this, or if you haven't experienced it, what is like your plan,
Yeah, how do
and
you
then maybe
handle
we can
it?
kind of talk about it a little bit, because it's a big topic, right? Like, there's so much conversation to be had around it that
Oh
it's like
yeah.
definitely we could go into it more, but I am curious like what have been like your guys' experiences, or like if you haven't reached that experience yet, how do you think you're going to react, or how do you think you're going to handle it or deal with it?
Hmm.
I'm curious to know. So like message us, email us, comment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us all the things.
tell us all the things, because I'm curious, because you might have a great idea that we might want to steal.
Yeah.
Like we gotta lean on each other. Let's help each
Yeah.
other out. All right. Well, we'll try to do better about recording
Yeah.
consistently. Like we had this whole plan of like we're gonna
Yeah.
record multiple episodes so we can get ahead, but our schedules have just not. We haven't even hung out
Yeah. Since the last time we
since the
recorded.
last time. Yeah, other than like our brief court
Interaction with Court
with
and me
court.
dropping off soup.
Yeah, we've both just been so busy. It should die down once the kids are out of school. Once
Yeah.
summer hits,
Yeah. Should be a lot easier.
should be easier because we'll be done with soccer.
Mm-hmm.
School will be done, and then it'll just be work and
Yep.
once a month book club. So
Easy peasy.
should be easier. I'm so sorry that we abandoned you guys again for a few weeks, but
Or bad.
we're doing our best out here, guys.
Yep.
We're doing our best, but thanks for tuning in. Happy to be back.
Yes.
Follow us on all the things, and we'll see you next week, hopefully. Knock on wood.
Ideally.
Bye.
Bye.